We walk amongst ghosts every day, be it sights of war and strife, or poverty and horror. The twisting, snaking paths are beautiful, but can lead us to some things undiscovered and terrifying. From the Mississippi Delta to the jungles of the Far East, the dead demand to be acknowledged. This is what we do here. Welcome to the House of Asher. Hey there, hi there, ho there. Yes, you are listening to the House of Asher. I'm your host, Steve Asher, and hope you guys are doing pretty good. We are hanging out. It's later in the evening. It's actually the day after the 4th of July. People are still popping off fireworks because, by God, we like to see stuff blow up, and that's what we do. Especially, this is something about it. This time of year, there's just, I don't know. We just like to light up stuff. The breeze is full of the scent of gunpowder. It's unique. It's unique. I try to explain it to people from other parts of the world, and they just sort of look at you. They get the festival atmosphere. They get the holiday vibe. It's just, America, and that's what it's about. Don't try to understand this, ladies and gentlemen. We do what we do, and that's how we do it. Sorry, I had to get a little sip of my coffee. So, we're going into summer. Pardon me. We're basically in summer. Now, those who know about my native home of Kentucky, which I talk about other stuff, but I'm talking about Kentucky today because, you know what? I do what I want. So anyway, this area has its fair amount of curious and interesting cryptids. Okay? Basically, that can cover anything from like Bigfoot, poke-lip monster, Mothman, which, yes, Mothman is part of the Kentucky cryptids as well. Everybody thinks it's all the way just in Virginia. No, there's a very narrow river between the two, and it's been spotted on either side, and it's had issues on either side of it. So let's not get it twisted about our cryptids, okay? But some of the lesser known or lesser spoken about cryptids I'm going to touch on, including one from my home county of Caldwell. But first I'm going to touch on one. This guy was, I'm trying to remember where they seen it at. I'm not for sure precisely what county. I think it was it Nicholas County? Yeah, I think it was Nicholas County. Anyway, this was known as Bearilla. Okay. Say that a couple times fast. That's kind of fun. Bearilla. Anyway, this is basically a a chimera or a hybrid of, bear, a bear, and rilla, a gorilla. I don't know why they didn't call it a gorilla or burgerilla. I don't know. I guess it makes more sense. I would suck at naming these. Anyway, but what's weird, it actually refers to a creature with the body of a bear, makes sense, and the face of a wolf, or some sort of really vicious hellhound canine type creature. I've talked to some hunters, meaning in the field of cryptozoology, and we've talked about this. There's one guy in particular, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to say it unless I get him on the show. And he's talked about encountering these. And the thing is, a lot of times, people in this area, it's very urban, or very rural rather, and they might be driving to their barn early in the morning because days start early. One guy had reported seeing a beast standing at least 6 to 7 foot tall. Some have reported it being closer to 8 foot. But, in the heat of the moment, and if there's not a landmark to say, okay, his head hit that tree that's still there, and you can kind of gauge it, it's really hard to say. Apparently, this creature had long, shaggy white hair, a somewhat haunched posture, which, you know what? It could actually have been 9 or 10 feet if it was kind of hunkered over. I don't know why it would do that, but maybe that's just what it does. And it said it had a distinctly canine face. Now, some people have actually been interviewed by local media, be it newspapers or television or whatever. It referred to a creature as a half bear, half gorilla. So for whatever reason, the name stuck. But more subsequent reports emphasize that the creature had more wolf-like features, canine-like features. Now, it's been spotted throughout Kentucky sporadically. Now, again, descriptions generally are of a large bipedal creature, covered in a light, thick, kind of stout fur, like you would think of like a dog when it gets his hackles up. With a very pronounced snout and pointed ears. So, it could be an unknown species of primate. It could be this, I don't know. Maybe nights get lonely in Kentucky, guys. Maybe a bear and a dog. Spend a little special time. I'm not here to judge. But there we are. The next one I'm going to talk about is the sheep squatch. Because who doesn't want their cryptids a little bit on the woollier side, right? Nice, good cryptid. If you're out wintertime, they snuggle up with you. It's nice. It's nice, right? Well, this supposedly is a sheep-human hybrid said to roam the hills of Kentucky, also known as the white thing, or in my neighborhood we call it a white thing, and described to have the body of a man, the head of a sheep, covered in shaggy white fur. Now, sightings of this creature have been reported in various parts of Kentucky, but it seems to have a particular affinity for Breckinridge County. So you guys up in that area, keep an eye out, keep an ear out, and just be chill. From what I understand, they've generally not been reported to be violent toward people, or some people might say, they thought maybe perhaps they were a little bad. God, I'm so sorry. I had to do it. I had to do dad jokes. Deal with it. Anyway, they were actually featured on the Monsters and Mysteries of America series, which, again, they talked about creatures about 7 foot tall, head like a sheep, even had the curled horns and everything. It would let out a bone-chilling scream before ducking off into the woods, leaving whoever was there visibly shaken. Now, some people talked about certain creatures similar to them, like, oh golly, what was his name? Poke Lip Monster, which has a, what do you call it? Sheepish, goatish, whatever that particular line of animal terminology is. If you know what it is, please put it in the messages below. I probably should have mentioned way earlier that you're probably listening to this on YouTube, perhaps Spreaker, which is the mothership of the show, iHeart, a whole bunch of different little places. Just look it up. And are punching Google for House of Asher. Check out Stevie Asher Studios. Actually, you can do steveasher.studios.com to go to my direct webpage, and it has links to different things, different books, different appearances, and whatnot. Now, I think most of you guys probably know about the Kelly Green Man, which I'm not going to get into a lot. Now, if you want me to do one specifically on it, leave your comments. I'm going to talk about one that is, it's not really as spooky or intimidating as the ones I mentioned before, but there's a giraffe possum creature, which I'm trying to understand that. Is it like a really long-legged critter with just like a little possum head, or is it like a possum with like a crazy long neck? That's freaking weird. I don't know how they would do that. But apparently in 1975, a driver was near the town of Winchester. Saw several strange dog-sized animals standing in a field along Highway 60. Highway 60 actually runs through this area as well. The creatures were described as having long snouts, large ears, and short, bristly gray fur, which the combination that led to the witness to dub them giraffe possums. Wow. I don't know. I think I would have found something maybe a little bit better than that. Girassums? You're a girassum. You know that? That's. I'm going to start using that. Apparently, in either case, if it was a thing of mistaken identity or just an exaggeration, this has become a charming example of how Kentucky's rich wildlife and active imagination can combine to create new additions to the state cryptid bestiary. Yeah. Well, there's that. I probably would mention like the Harrington Lake monster. This is known as Henry or the eel pig, because why not? Now, this was around Harrington Lake, as I've said, a man-made reservoir created by damming the Dick. This is the name. I'm not making it up. Dick's River. River of Dicks in 1925. Apparently, this was a 12 to 15 foot in length creature with a slender body like an eel, but with a distinctive snout and curly tail of a pig, hence the nickname Eel Pig. This goes all the way back to the 1920s. But the most compelling accounts come from the 1970s. It seemed like the 1970s was just bumping for cryptids. Stuff like $6 Million Man and Land of the Lost and just all those really groovy, like the Croft Brothers. Anyway, all kinds of crazy stuff. But anyway, one person described it as having a humped back, a tail that measured between 12 and 15 feet long. Some thought it could have actually been a descendant of an ancient species that was trapped in the lake after it went down when the caves were flooded by the creation of the lake. That's trippy. Supposedly we have an octopus. Who knew? So, the Burnsboro octopus. Now, this is right around Kentucky Lake. This was spotted way back in 1944. A person got attacked. Suction marks were on their legs. They looked, and they even started noticing that they had animals dead and floating away. Some people claimed of seeing massive gray octopus-like creatures emerging from the depths and crawling onto the river. Bang, 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 bang. But, as freaky as that is, and as weird as that is, the weirdest one I ever knew of was the Caldwell County, or better known, Princeton Pigman, which was known to be down close to the Highland Baptist Church, where there had been a death of a child. Supposedly, a brother of the child went mad after the baby was fed to the pigs. Yeah. Supposedly he'd come back and butchered the pigs, skinned them alive, disappeared with their skins. Was quite mad. And to this day, people say they can still hear the squeals and the screams of the child and the brother driven mad by the death of their loved one. But, on that note, it's time to say goodbye, everybody. I want you to enjoy the rest of your day. But as the trees engulf the sun and the shadows get long, please remember to look toward the darkness, because there's knowledge and fear. There's always learning to be done. But until next time, stay scared.